Hey sailors, it's Kevin and Frank from Cruising with Wheels.
And today, it's all about transportation. That's right. How you getting to that cruise?
So some of our Cruising with Wheels family has already seen our other transportation video that we've done. We've done a few.
A while ago.
But we've have almost 5,000 subscribers more since then.
Time to do an update for 2019.
Right, it's been a couple of years, so this will be our update. And we're going to jump right into the meat and potatoes of this video.
Right.
And we're going to start with the first mode of transportation that you can take to get to your cruise, right? And that would be public transportation.
Right. It's
Now,
cheap.
It's cheap, and it would include trains, buses, subways. Now, in these cases, right, you'd have to be pretty local, right?
Pretty much.
To get to that
or you
cruise.
flew in and you're at a hotel and you decide, you know what?
Well, that would be local.
I'm going to take a bus. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you're already there, and you're like, I'm going to take the bus, or I can catch the subway. But you know what? It might be cheap, but it's a little time consuming.
And it can be a hassle.
And you're dragging your luggage. So if you want to, the cheap way, you're going to invest the time.
So the next on our list, and probably the most popular, would be booking a transfer through the cruise line that you are sailing on.
Right.
Now, in most cases, it's inexpensive. It could be anywhere from $25 to $50 per person, depending on the cruise line.
And reservations and tickets are limited.
Correct. And what you would do is you would book this online, or your travel agent could book this for you in some cases. But we want you all to remember that you're going on their schedule.
Right. So flying into that airport, you really need to be cognizant of the times you're arriving, when they're going to be at the airport. In most of the cases, you're gonna see the cruise line representative standing there, Carnival Cruise or Princess Cruise or whatever, as everyone accumulates in some kind of waiting seating area.
Now, we do want to warn you that do not select this mode of transportation to get to your cruise unless you are flying in that day.
All right.
Because that's the only day in limited hours that they're shuttling people back and forth.
Right. So, I mean, if some people want to, let's say, fly in to the Fort Lauderdale airport a day early, get to a hotel via the hotel shuttle, and then have the hotel shuttle take you back to the airport.
And we've done that before. It's just a lot of work.
To meet the cruise line bus, I guess that's up to you. But that's a lot of back and forth.
Now, speaking of hotel shuttles, that would be the next mode of transportation to get you to that cruise. Now, not all hotels offer a shuttle to the cruise port, but a lot of them do.
Right. You see those little buses, Ramada Inn, Days Inn, or whoever, and they're back and forth from the airport. And so, it's a matter of getting out there and kind of waiting as they go back and forth. And, Kevin's usually running, trying to flag them down because, I'm in the wheelchair. But then we got to do the drag up into the bus.
Now, then the only thing is that you're running on their schedule again. You usually have to sign up for them, so we want you to be cognizant of that. If you've decided that that's what you're going to do, when you get in to do your check-in, you want to ask them, do I need to sign up for the shuttle? Is there a fee for the shuttle? Or maybe they have a package, because a lot of the hotels in areas that are in port areas will have a package where you can park and shuttle, or you can, the park and stay, or the cruise package.
But again, that's, part of what Kevin does, which is the initial booking of the hotel, which is he runs down my checklist of these are the questions to ask all the hotels you're checking on. Do you have a shuttle? Do you have this? Do you have that? And, you know, like restaurants and this and that and that. So, yeah, it's all part of the initial booking process.
Now, next on our list is a private car service. And that could be whether you're doing a local car service that you would ask the hotel desk when we check in.
Right, because we got a deal when we were on the getaway. We were going to probably try to do a taxi, and the hotel desk manager said, I can get you a car service for fairly inexpensive for the four of you. Because, you know, we were with Dave and Darlene, and we were like, okay. And in like 2 seconds, he was like, okay, you're all set. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, he'll pick you up. And we're like, really? Thank you.
Now, there are other car services that Frank and I have used. We use GroundLink quite often, and that can be booked online from your home prior to sailing. And usually we would book our car there and our return car back, and they're waiting for us when we get off the cruise ship, which is nice.
Right, and they have the app, and you can communicate with them.
And speaking of apps, you can do Uber, which I've done before, and also Lyft. We're not really sure what's going on with Uber and Lyft, but I tried to find the app for Lyft because we haven't used it in a long time, and it came up as Uber.
Right, because there is now a family connection between the two of them.
Right.
So, yeah.
And usually what you do is you go to your app, and then once you're in the app, you put in the address that you want to go to, and it'll tell you how much for whatever car you select.
Right.
And it'll show you all the cars that are in the area, and in minutes they'll be there.
Yeah, it's amazing. You, while we were on that getaway cruise, that hotel night, I was recovering in the room. But Dave, Darlene, and Kevin,
we went to South Beach.
They went to South Beach, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to call an Uber
from our hotel." We pushed the button for the car to show up, and by the time we walked out the doors, they were there waiting. And I think it cost us $4.50 to get from our hotel to the South Beach. So we were really excited about that. It was a great experience. And the same thing happened for our return trip.
Right. So if you want to just avail yourself of Uber or Lyft and just be like, you know, catch as catch can, and when I get there, I'll just do my app and someone will show up, that's great.
Now, next on our list would be taxis.
Right.
And they're available in most major airports.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're
lined up.
Airports, hotels, ports, they're there waiting for you. They are
lined up, ready to take your business.
The thing with taxis is I have a bad taste in my mouth over taxis. I don't want to get hate mail from any taxi drivers, but...
Be kind.
But you will have to wait in some instances.
And in our cases, because we have the wheelchair, we don't take the standard car taxi. We have to have that larger van. So I'm not sure how many of those are available, which is why we like to pre-plan and book our car service transportation.
Now with a taxi, the taxi driver is really in control of where they're going to go. It's not like Uber where you already know what the price is going to be.
Right.
The minutes are ticking away,
tickety.
And we have been in instances, now we're very savvy travelers, okay? And this is a story I really want to tell. Remember when we were on the cruise, I think it was for the Carnival Conquest, and we know how to get to the cruise port. We're very familiar with all that. And the driver started taking us in a different direction. And I said, I don't know where you're going, but you need to turn this around and go the right way. And he says, oh, shortcut. I said, no.
Shortcut is not going the opposite direction. So
Correct.
You don't want taxi drivers, Kevin in the back seat.
So my suggestion for anybody that's nervous about their taxi driver and are they going to overcharge you is simply download an app. on your phone, either Waze or use Maps, Google Maps, iMaps, and basically plot it out on your GPS.
I mean, that's what we do. Familiarize yourself with how many miles is it from, let's say, hotel to the port or whatever, and the estimated time that they're telling you. At least you're going to have that in your head to say, wait a minute, this shouldn't have taken an hour because this was only estimated 15 minutes, and it's not like we have heavy traffic here and there wasn't stop and go on the expressway. I'm getting taken for a ride.
Now, you can also, of course, drive your own car.
Right.
We know a lot of people that drive their own car. Some of my clients will not fly, so they will only go out of, say, Boston or Baltimore, wherever they can drive to. And when you're driving, you're in control. Right. You can take as much luggage as you want to bring.
You can pack those steamer trunks loaded up.
The thing, though, is parking can be a little expensive, but if you're driving there, maybe you haven't had an expensive flight, so it probably equals out.
Exactly. So we're paying for the flight to get there and not for the parking at the port. You're paying the parking at the port and a free drive. So again, do the numbers.
Right.
It might all just even out.
Now, when Frank was doing his research and putting together all the stuff we needed to know when we were to talk about, right?
Yeah.
He came across something that I have never seen before.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of websites that can help you with transportation, and it's not to help you decide on who to select, the way to go. And there's a supershuttle.com. And if you go to their website, and again, they have an app you can download on your phone, and they say that they're in most cities. So if you're deciding whether you're going to do a private car service like a GroundLink or an Uber or a Lyft or shuttle buses, check out that website.
Now, we get a lot of questions about New York City, and we don't live in New York City.
We don't.
We are in upstate Western New York.
Way up.
But we have traveled quite often out of New York City because it's so close proximity to us, relatively. And we found
8-hour drive, 45-minute flight.
We found a website called Cruisely.com, and they specialize in the cruise port transfers or transportation to get there.
So check them out.
Check them out too. All the links to everything that we're talking about today, if there is a link, will be found in the description below, along with how you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
We want to thank you for joining us today and having us help you get to that cruise.
Right. You might not be cruising with wheels, but you're going to need some wheels to get to that cruise.
That's right.
So, as always, everyone,
travel safe
and cruise often.